And we are back, another edition of Sessions with Stef. Guys, I'm so happy doing this podcast. It's fantastic, and I have another good one today. I'm really excited about this one. It's been a while, and I'm going to introduce Stefano to you soon. Yes, I gave away his first name because it's the best fucking name around. No, I'm joking. Well, I'm not joking, but anyways. Guys, this podcast is a musical podcast. It's... I like to speak to musicians, people around the music business, people that have anything to do with the music business. We like to talk about the music business and anything that goes around it. May it be marketing, which you'll see today that'll play a part in this episode. Sometimes we go behind the scenes on gigs and different shows. Sometimes we deal with publicists. Sometimes we have other people. We have Lisa and Francesca that are here, which is our sister podcast. Hi, Francesca.
Hello.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
And they have a podcast called Let's Talk It Out, and it's a sister podcast to Sessions with Stef. You can catch both podcasts on YouTube. They each have their own channel. Go subscribe. Please subscribe. Come on. It's awesome. Right? Don't we need our subscribers?
Suscription.
That's right.
Sottoscrivetevi. There you go.
Yes,
I like
exactly.
what she said.
Follow us on Facebook. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts. You can catch us on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. I got it right for once.
Woo!
Yes.
It's the beer. It's the Michelob.
It's the Michelob Ultra. I went for the calorie... it's only got 3 grams of carbs.
It's okay. Whatever works.
That's what I was going for. No.
Best diet.
So first things first. We need to thank our sponsors. Thank you guys so much. And our sponsors today, we have our regular Fearless Sounds, Francesca.
Woo!
The
Yes, I am.
voice there. She's there, Fearless Sounds. Francesca sponsors us. She is a publicist in the music business. She can market your brand. She does something called playlist placement for any artist releasing music. She does marketing. She does anything a publicist does. And you can go back. We had an episode of Sessions with Stef where she was explaining a lot that she does, and it's fantastic. So Fearless Sounds, check her out. It's 514-409-6061. That's her number where you can get in touch with her. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. She has a website as well, right?
Working on it.
It's working on it. It's coming. The fearlesssounds.com is definitely coming.
But the domain is that one. So
that's the domain. So we'll keep it and you keep trying on it and see what happens.
Sooner or later.
Otherwise, use that phone number.
One
day it'll come. And use that phone number and you'll get in touch with her. She can help you out. Oh,
It's a bit close there.
You were having a few technical difficulties, but that's normal because this is Sessions with Stef. You never know what you're going to get. Our next sponsor is Richard Babb Photography. I almost don't even have to look at my paper because I remember he's such an awesome dude. His photos are amazing. You could catch him on Instagram. You can see what type of photos he does. It's Richard_Babb_photography on Instagram. He's also got a Facebook page. He specializes in cosplay. He specializes in fine arts. He also does editorials, glamour, any of that kind of photography. Guys, it's really amazing. Check it out on Instagram, Facebook. He's also has a phone number that I can't remember. But it is 514-923-3168. Richard Babb Photography. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. It's greatly appreciated. We always look for more sponsors. You can reach out to Sessions with Stef anywhere on Facebook or YouTube. You can write a comment, which is another thing. We want you to engage with us, guys. We need some comments. We get some on YouTube and we get some on Facebook and stuff like that, but we want more. If you have guests, if you know anyone who would like to be on the show, I would be glad to have anybody on the show that would like to be on the show. I mean, I have a lineup of guests too. Francesca's got a lot of her clients as well that come on, and I have a blast. A lot of them are friends. Some I don't know, some I do know, but it's always fun. It's always a good chat. So guys, feel free, reach out. And now we are ready to get into the show. I'd like to thank you, Stefano, for coming on.
Thanks,
we've got Stefano Guadagnino. Guys, this is someone who I've known for, I think we were saying 30 years? Probably around that. It's 20 since you moved from St. Leo.
Oh my God, a long time ago.
Right? And so Stefano is a musician, was heavily into it before. Playing a lot, the guitar player.
Yeah.
he played around town all over the place. I mean, bars, clubs. You probably did some corporate stuff too, I would imagine.
Not that much corporate. We were a little too hard, I think.
It was like a hard rock
Yeah.
kind of style. And he did music. He still plays. He might even play a little bit while I'm doing an outro or something. Get some of his luscious sounds. You know, a couple of chords in the background. But he took his music career. He kind of put it on the shelf for a while because he found another passion in marketing, right?
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to get into all of that. And you found a way somehow you mix the two kind of thing. It's like a double passion where
working on the project now.
And that's pretty awesome. So Stefano, thank you so much. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Because it's been a while. It's and it came with Francesca, actually. This is the funny thing. It's just like, hey, I have someone who's going to be on it. My friend Stefano Guadagnino. And I'm like, fuck off. Like, are you serious? Yeah, of course I know Stefano, man. That's awesome. That's besides the awesome name. So, okay. I mean, let's start off. We're going to go way back. We're going to start music. We're going to talk about your guitar playing. So you played, was it a few bands? Was it one band?
It was, when I think about it now, it was mainly one band. And I had a hard time, like, in a sense of playing with other people because we had such a close clique. It was almost like a gang.
Okay.
So we did everything together and like everything together. Okay. And it was just an awesome time with them. And I remember from as a kid, I'd run around the house with a tennis racket at like 5 years old, screaming at my parents, well, you're in the jungle, you're going to die. I used to say all this crazy shit. And
Get the Guns N' Roses.
I had Guns N' Roses. And my house was a funny house because, there's a lot of like generations happening in that house where my parents are very old school and they were Elvis fans, like huge Elvis fans. Mm-hmm. And my dad was...
Your brother's a big Elvis fan.
Huge,
Huge
so
Elvis
it had a big, impact, I think, in the house. Just having Elvis all the time in the house. So it was a weird feeling because it was like the 50s at one point, going on in the house. And then my brother Joe, there was that decade apart from myself.
Yeah.
And he brought in all this other music. He brought in, I remember, the Guns N' Roses and the Motley Crues and all that stuff.
My era, yeah.
Yeah, but I was a kid, so it was weird because I'd be again in like kindergarten, and I'm showing up with a mixtape.
Kickstart My Heart. Over and over again,
it started off with a Kickstart My Heart to a Two Live Crew, and there was hip hop and there was Public Enemy on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so the house was like filled with all these different types of musical influences, and then I remember when my brother brought home Appetite for Destruction, and that album was like the album that ruined my life. If I have to say the album that
ruined my life.
it totally took me off course. If they ever thought I was going to do anything like Lawyer or anything like that, that album completely destroyed all those dreams for my parents. And I remember that was like the album that told me like, okay, I have to play music. I remember I saw Slash in the background with the bongos all fucked up and messed up. And I said, that's who I want to be,
all fucked up.
That was the person I wanted to be. And so it was interesting, and then that was kind of the focus. There was only one plan. It was to be a rock star. Like that was the only, I didn't have a plan B. I focused on that. The band, like I would talk about it all day. I would play music all day. I would practice all day, and then I would always be at Kids Music, bothering Tony all the time and all those guys. Yeah, and it was fun because it was kind of like this clique. Like I said, it was just always there. And then I met the guys in high school and Mike. Mike too, and he was playing drums, and I said, okay, just go get a drum set. And then we just started.
Mike who?
Mike, my brother's wife's brother, Mike.
Oh, Mike. Okay, yes.
So
drums.
So it was like, okay, Mike, go get drums. Just go get drums, and he got a set. Okay, and then I had my guitar, and then just recruited whoever we could find. Like if you played guitar, like play. And then finally we found this clique, and we just kept on playing and playing and playing, and then some reiterations and some changes in the band. But then, like at a certain point, we were playing a ton of shows. Things were going well, and then just things didn't work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's life.
It kind of like, and I'd say I was lucky enough where I think those paths crossed where when I started kind of saying, I think I'm done playing, I had this opportunity that just kind of showed up. And it was just so random. Like I met somebody and I guess he's like the best marketer, one of the best marketers I've ever spoken to because he completely convinced me to jump into that world when I thought it was the most bullshit like thing you could ever think of was marketing. Like all they do is sell you shit you don't want.
Yeah.
And but he was he was really good, and he convinced me that I didn't realize it, but naturally as a musician, and if you're an artist, you're a marketer. You don't realize it, right?
100%.
You know, but at the time you're a kid, you don't know that, right? You just, I'm a musician. I'm in a band. I want to be a rock star, and I remember him like just giving me all these examples of how I was really a marketer.
Yeah, without knowing it.
Without knowing that the band was my product in a sense, if you want to look at it, you know.
100%.
And I understood it completely, and I said, okay, you know what? Plus, I needed to make money, you know. It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, okay,
that old money thing.
Yeah, that whatever, you know, this thing called money. And so I walked into that, and then just things exploded from there. Like I started working on these events, and I started working on these events, and I was working at like the Formula One events, and
we're gonna get there.
Okay.
We're gonna get there. Yeah. We're gradually getting to the
Yeah.
marketing part. I want to get to there because it's awesome. So, when you learned guitar, did you go for lessons? How did you do it on your own? How did you put that together?
And why guitar?
guitar was Slash. Like definitely, that's why I say that album like changed everything. And to start off, to be honest, it was I went to Kits. And I would sit there and I would talk with Tony and I would ask people that were in the store, and he would actually be super nice and let me photocopy books.
Oh my God.
And I would bring them back. So Tony was like the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of started, just playing chords. And once I got enough chords, I would like learn a song. So I remember.
Okay, self-taught then.
Yeah, a lot of it at the beginning was self-taught, and also just talking to the guys in the store.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, okay, how do you play that? Oh, that, you know, he would play a riff, and I'm like, okay, show me how to play that riff. And I was this like pain in the ass in the store. I would be there like all the time after school. I would just go run with my guitar and just sit there and learn from people on the spot. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of brought me into like learning songs, and I realized like the reason why I started falling in love with playing was solely because I just was so obsessed with playing these songs and bringing it back as like in a band, and can we play this on stage somewhere, and let's have a party, you know. It was like always like, let's just do something and let's cause like a mess and just break everything. Like it was like
smash everything. Yeah, that's how I would say smash it.
Yeah, you know. And the goal was really to always throw a really fun party while we were playing. Sure. And we just had fun together. It was natural. Like no one was faking it. Like
what was the name of the band?
Oh my God, the first name was terrible. It was called Drag.
Okay.
And it was a terrible name. And we were kids, and we said, okay, last name plus last name, you know, the first letters of the last name. And it was just a shitty, fucking stupid name when I think about it. And then finally it turned into Sin Silver, and that was...
But sometimes that's the best marketing, right?
Yeah, but I can tell you this one wasn't. It didn't go as well. Maybe in high, you know, in our thoughts and our ideas and our dreams, it was going well, but it was a fucking stupid name. And then we turned into Sin Silver, and I don't remember how that happened. I think it was my bass player, Jay, that had thought about that name. Sin Silver. And that worked well. Like, it was more us.
Yeah.
The logo made more sense. The band name made more sense. And just even the originals sounded so much better. It just fit.
Okay.
And that's when I find, like, things, although we had done a ton of cover gigs as Drag, and we got, like, quite a few fans at that point, more, like, in the bar scene and playing a lot of covers and doing like 3 sets of an hour, playing cover after cover after cover, and throwing in an original in there. We finally like kind of shifted more to the originals and kind of stuck in.
I remember when you got at that point. Yeah. Your
Yeah.
brother was always ranting, and it was great because he made me hear it, because I think he managed you at a certain point.
Yeah, that was the first like kind of, I guess, the first concoction of the band. Okay. He was a lot more involved, and then he got married, and then he had these other things going on.
That stuff happened.
Yeah, you know, but he was still around. Like, he always showed up for gigs, and then slowly we kind of like took it over on our end. But definitely he was around for a lot of it, and it was fun like having him around. And we used to throw all the garbage his way, you know.
He's a good dude.
And he used to save our ass all the time.
I partied with his brother. I'm just gonna let that out there. We had quite a few nights in college, so I've known him for years, and I remember him talking to me all the time about it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think it's full circle. You know, it's pretty
crazy.
Awesome. And okay, so the band toured. Did you like go on some tours, or it was just mainly?
It was mainly like pockets of gigs. So we used to do a lot of Quebec gigs. Then we had a really good following for some reason in Ottawa.
Okay.
Like Ontario started picking up, and then I'd say when that started picking up, that's when things ended, which was kind of a shitty like moment where things are starting to pick up.
Did you guys release an album?
We had released an EP, and we finally put it on Spotify.
Oh, cool!
Like a month, like 3 months ago. Are
you serious?
Yeah,
well, we're gonna post it. So send me a link.
Yeah,
maybe
I'll
play a song of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll put it at the beginning or at the end of the podcast.
It would be amazing. You know, it's fun to hear it now, like that it's randomly there, and we're seeing some people in like Southeast Asia that are listening to the tracks, and we're like, man, this would have been amazing had there, you know, like I think MySpace just came out when we released it. It's like that's how long ago it was. So definitely, it was an awesome experience. And the recording, we actually recorded with someone that, you know, like kind of a lot of people know in the city right now, but Dave Trainer with the Freak Shop.
Dave Trainer, yeah.
Yeah, and the Damn Truth. So
great dude.
And we kind of clicked. We kind of lived together for almost 3 months recording this EP.
Okay.
And Dave moved Dave pretty much moved in, and then from there he opened up the original like Freak Shop was next door to us because he was coming into our pad and he had brought his whole setup in our pad, and we met really the Damn Truth at the time when they were in like the beginning phases, and I think they even recorded maybe a track or two in our original pad. So it was like, it was fun. It was this whole moment that was happening in that era, and that whole time was a fucking great time.
Of course, man. Gigging and stuff is always a blast, and you remember those nights because you build a camaraderie with your pals. Are you still in touch with?
We played hockey like.
Are you serious?
Yeah, him and Derek Orsi. I don't know if you know Derek.
Yes, I know Derek.
Yeah, so Derek and Dave work together all the time at Freak Shop, and we actually just had a stupid ball hockey like random night.
You could have walked for 3 days.
Yeah, dead, totally dead. And it was awesome. Like we still hang out, we still see each other. Dave's actually playing with Damn Truth and also my friend's band Astral Gates now.
That's right. Who's going to be coming on sessions with that for sure?
So Dan is awesome. You know, I've known Dan for like ever.
Dan Durbano, right?
Dan Durbano.
That's right, yeah.
So those guys there. And my old bass player, Jay, is playing in Astral Gates now. So it's so funny how kind of like all these things are all coming around.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's really cool. Okay, and you still putz around with the...
Yeah, you know, like it's at home, you know, to be honest. Like someone calls me to come and jam. Like we just jammed maybe a month ago. And it was fun. Like it was fun to be in the room with the guys, especially the old guys like that we had played with, you know. And it's just like, it's natural. You could just feel it like in the session. It's like a song or two is rusty. And then all of a sudden it just naturally, you know, Jay is connecting with Mike again, bass and drums, like they never stopped playing. You know, and I know they kind of still play together in this Stones tribute thing going on.
Oh, they have a Stones tribute?
Yeah, they're playing with the Stones tribute, and so they're still like you can hear that. Yeah, definitely. They're doing, and they sound really good.
Really? Eh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And so like, and you could still hear that there's that connection, you know. And then when we got in the room, it was a bit rough around the edges at the beginning, but then after like a song or two, it was like, it felt like we never stopped playing.
That's awesome.
So it's funny, you know, like, and that's why I say that gang that we played with was something special. We just had like a really good like friends. I think we've still been friends for like 20 years now. You know?
That's really cool.
So it's crazy.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. You should put together a show, just one show.
You know, it's funny. I've had that question asked or that request, and I don't know. I'm more into the fact of somebody said this to me maybe a few months ago or so, and I felt like it just rang true with me, where there's a point, like he gave the example from an actor's perspective, and he's like, there's a point where you're done being an actor and you want to be a director, and you'd rather kind of be behind the shots and try to see the whole show from a different perspective. And then a lot of times those directors want to be producers, you know, and then they want to produce the movie.
Of course.
So like, I feel like that gradual is like, I still love to play, but I love to play like intimately, alone with the guys and just hang out. To be on stage is like, there's no desire for it. No. Whereas I love seeing new acts. I love seeing young, fresh acts that they come out on stage and they're fucking hungry.
They're hungry.
They're hungry. They're not playing for fun. They're playing because this is their dream. Yeah. And that to me is the thing that I think has kind of like now, like we'll talk about probably a little bit later, that merge of the marketing and the music element is it's about those guys, like those guys, those girls that are just amazing acts in the city. And, you know, not many people know about them, and they're starting to pick up, and I love those bands. Like those are the bands, and those are the acts, and those are the promoters and the guys that I want to talk to and the girls that I want to talk to. That's the fun shit that I want to deal with now. The playing, it's like, let's fuck around here and there.
Let's have a good time.
Leave the stage on its own. Leave it for the other people that really want to be on that stage.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. And
that's it.
I have a question. When did you realize that music, it was something that happened that made you realize that you want to be behind the scene and not anymore on stage?
I'd say it was at one point I hated music.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, and I know
Get the fuck out of this.
No, if I have to look at it from that standpoint, I'd say honestly at one point I was just done with music, and I feel like I was done with music because I don't know how other people are, but I felt like I'd put so much love, so much effort, so much time, commitment. I'd left every party you could think of that I could have been at, and family moments, and like even girlfriends. I didn't give a shit. Like nothing mattered but music. And then when it didn't work out, I felt like kind of almost betrayed in a weird way. So it really kind of took a toll on me, like almost, I guess, mentally, not mentally, but just like, I don't want to touch you because like it hurts to touch you now. Like I feel like of a lost opportunity. And I think after that, I kind of got over that. That's when I kind of re-entered back into like playing again and wanting to be back in it and kind of being so disconnected from it, realizing that at the same time, there's a part of me that's missing. Like that's when it finally kind of started making sense. Like I can't live a life without being involved in some sort of music.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the awakening, I guess, maybe.
Well, the artistry, I'm sure you enjoy. You love the artistry.
Yeah.
You love the playing. You love the music. Like you said, you were hurt. And there's a lot of artists that go through that. And I have friends that go through that as well. They feel they put an emphasis on making it, but making it is what you make of it.
Yeah.
Right? Making it is not everybody in North America needs to know who I am.
Exactly.
Making it is like there's different forms. For me, making it was if I can make a living doing this, that's
You made it.
I made it. I didn't make nothing, but I made a living. I
Yep.
didn't, I did. Now I don't do it solely. I still do it, but in the past I did for about 20 years, 25 years, not about 20. I
Yeah,
did
I
music
remember.
full time. That's
I
all I
never
did.
remember you not being in a gig.
Yeah,
Like every event, every wedding, every like
Yeah, that's true.
I
I
was
did.
like Stefano Vanni
Yeah.
was everywhere.
He's gonna be there.
He was there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
And to me, I was happy about that because at that point, like now, when the kids came along, I took another job. I work at Canada Post, which worked out beautifully because it's like I deliver the mail. I don't want to say it's a tough job, but I mean I enjoy it because I'm outside. I don't
Yeah.
have a boss looking at me, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. It allows you the freedom you
It
want.
allows me the freedom, and it took 4 or 5 years to get a full-time post. So I kept doing music full-time while I was doing that, and then now I'm still able to do music because I do my route and I'm done by 3:00 and I go home. So I love it. But when I was my perspective was, hey, if I'm not in a fucking factory somewhere to make ends meet, and when I took the job as Canada Post, I took it not because of money. I took it because I want to be home. Because when you do music full time, you're not home.
Yeah.
During the day, you're looking for the gigs. You're preparing for the gigs. At night, you're at the gigs.
Yeah.
You're touring in the summer. You're going here. You're going there. I mean, I have a gig in Ottawa Saturday. I'm not home all day Saturday. I come home Sunday afternoon. Now it's the weekend. My kids are a little older. It's not a problem. But at that point, I said, I can't be gone all the time. I want to be with my kids as well. So
Definitely.
and I'm lucky now I get to do it now while having the job. But like I said, it's all about what you feel is making it is. And
Exactly.
when you have that, I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and she wants to make it, and she feels like, how am I going to get there? I said, you have to change what getting there is. If you're not working in a shitty job,
Yeah.
because music is paying your bills because you're doing certain gigs and you're singing here, there, and everywhere, you've made it. You've made you didn't
Yeah.
make it that North America knows who you are, and that's important. Because
And I had a hard time. I couldn't deal with that. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
tough.
understand not being the full making it perspective. So now in hindsight, when I think about it,
because
and
it's a game of it's numbers, man. It's like winning the lottery. We don't look at that. We think everyone has this hard work pays off, and hard work always does pay off, but it depends what payoff is.
and then you just come to terms. Like I talk with some friends of mine that were athletes, and I think of one guy in specific, and he was an amazing baseball player and great. Like he killed it.
Yeah.
But then he also hit a point where he realized he's not going to hit the majors. Like
Yeah.
he knew, like he would look at his friends and the guys that were playing, and he's like, I'm not as good as these guys, And there was a point also when, because I had studied music at Vanier, I got to McGill, I was playing music at McGill, and I realized like, oh man, like
It's a numbers game.
it's not even a numbers game. They're just like much better, No, and it was like it was
But
also
it
realization.
doesn't have to do with that. That's part of the game, but it's not.
Definitely,
It's
but
a sound,
it was
it's
something.
luck. There's a bit of luck for that making it. When
Definitely,
I say that
definitely.
making it, there's so because look at that person. I don't understand why they didn't make it, and it's not to burst your bubble, but there's 5,000 others like you, not
100%.
you, like that person. You go to New York, every in a
So
block
many people.
apartment, there's 500 musicians, and they're all good.
Yeah.
So what makes it? It's a lottery pick, man. It's
There's
Of
good,
course,
you know,
hard work.
right time, right place, all these things
right
that
time
matter,
and
definitely.
preparation. So I do
100%.
agree. Where hard work comes in is if you're prepared at the right time in the right place, then you'll
100%. And that's why it took some time to come to terms with that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of
Mentally.
course.
And then once I came to terms with it, that's when I kind of realized, okay, well, there's other options with music.
And that's
It doesn't have to stay in just the performing side. And that's when I feel like that gradual, like, letting go of being the actor in the film
Yeah.
to how can I still be part of this film?
So let's talk about your
Yeah.
project because it seems really interesting.
Suspense.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We built it up.
Da-da-da.
So you have a so now you
Yeah.
went into the marketing game, right?
Yeah.
And what do you do in terms of marketing?
So I'd worked in marketing from like different angles. I remember I started off in, I think I mentioned earlier, I started off with these events. So we used to do like all the billboards and stuff at, you know, Formula One, Super Bowls, and like all this stuff. So I got in. That was my first kind of like feet into the marketing game was events, and being and contacting advertisers and working with them and trying to find the right sponsors for all this stuff and working in all that game. But it was also like an eye opener to understand like marketing in general concerning the audiences that you're dealing with, you know. And I remember this guy, I'll never forget. He's like Rolex, you know, and I finally got the CMO of Rolex on the line. And I couldn't believe, like,
Yeah.
this is Rolex, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I was this 23-year-old kid or 24-year-old kid, and I got this guy on the line, and I'm like, what do I even say to him? You know, like he finally answered.
You got
know?
the time.
Yeah. Exactly. And I remember talking with him, and I said, oh, you know, where we're doing the Super Bowl in Jacksonville or whatever year it was, I don't remember. And he looks at me, he's like, Stef, he goes, I appreciate, you know, reaching out and everything, but that's not for us. And I said, the Super Bowl? What do you mean the Super Bowl is not for you? He's like, you know how expensive a Rolex watch is? He's like, probably 95% of the people at that game or watching it probably can't afford it. Yeah. He's like, so we'd rather put our ads in golf. We'd rather put our ads in tennis. And it was just like, and I remember that was kind of like that first opening where not everyone...
Target audience.
Yeah, you know, understanding target audiences and then understanding segments, understanding all these things. And in reality, you know, that's pretty much everything, is understanding how to talk to the right crowd and also how to communicate to that crowd the right way. And, you know,
Which is not far off from music as well.
exactly, you know,
I mean,
right?
I do that weekly. I'm on stage and I have to read the 300 people that are in front of me, and I got to get them to dance. So, looking at their age, looking at, you know, what would be good. So, yeah, go on. It's great.
And also, like, when you look at it from a music perspective, you know, the last 2 years was like devastating.
Oh, fuck.
It was devastating, and you know this because you were still you're still a traveling musician and you're still playing live gigs. But I mean, I think I'd read this stat that the music industry dropped globally, like revenue wise, like almost 70%, right? Because the main revenue stream, let's say, or the main focus for a lot of musicians was live shows, right? So for 2 years there was no live shows almost in North America. Like, when you kind of think of that, it's pretty crazy, right? So that had a huge impact. But it also, you know, and a lot of times what it does in those moments is it also opens up different opportunities, right? It was the first time I think I had read that since 2000 that recorded music actually made more money for a musician than a live show.
That's sad.
Like, it's kind of
Especially
crazy because it was the opposite for so long, right? That the
Exactly.
recording, you know, your songs would be sold, your CDs or whatever it was, and then Napster came in. You know, it changed the world, and it changed it for the better in some ways, and it changed it for the worse in some others. But it changed it, right? And the whole experience of COVID in 2020 changed music again, and it changed music to different elements of where, you know, the social media game is a big part of your audience, and you know, it's that at a certain point, like, that's what saved. When I think of the Damn Truth was recording an album. They had all this release and all this stuff that was ready to go, and that just kind of stopped. It just literally stopped, and they had to figure ways out. And then they started recording these sessions from home, doing these covers, and in fact, it probably helped them grow their audience like a lot more than the live gig would have done, because they spoke to these people worldwide, and it probably helped them a lot on their European tours that they've been doing lately, right?
And people were consuming that content online, right? Because they're home, there's nothing to do.
Exactly.
So they were consuming a lot of content. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely helped,
Yeah, so all of these things like are so important now, and that's where I feel like all the years that I've had in marketing and all that stuff, I kind of made that conscious decision to start kind of mixing the two worlds now, where I see all these amazing, like I was saying earlier, you know what I mean? There's these really, really good bands, you know what I mean? Like it's some of them that come to mind is like this band called No Waves. No Waves is like this cool, like punk rock band here in the city. They have this, like some amazing sounds to them and just like this great energy. And you know, why can't I maybe reach out to them? And that's kind of like the idea is like start reaching out to these guys. How can I help you? Like I have this experience of marketing. I have like the idea of how we can leverage this stuff and how can we connect you creating those right audiences in the right mix. How do we work like that's obviously I'm just throwing out one name, but I mean there's so many people. There's another one Off Island. You know, he's this kid that like I you know saw him grow up and like now he's producing some really good music. It's like, how can I help this guy? Like I feel like that's where my role is like coming into play, where that's what I want to be now is I want to be the person helping these guys and helping that dog, you know,
because he wants a bone.
he wants something too. And you know, and really just working together to help these guys and these
So
and these
sort
bands
of
and
like
these girls.
almost what Francesca does as a publicist,
Yeah,
right?
and I spoke with Francesca. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. I called her up, and this is how kind of this moment happened. And I told her I was at this crossroads of how do I take what I love, how do I take what I know, and how do I mix that together, and produce something that is something that I feel it's something you just want to be a part of now.
Yeah.
And you just know it. Like you want to take the time. Like I'm here tonight because I want to talk about it. I want to talk to you guys. I want to get to know more people again. Like I know quite a few people still because I've always stayed in contact with them, from promoters to musicians to bands. And it's like, okay, well, it's not, you haven't really disconnected from the scene. You just kind of took a step back from it.
You never do.
You never do. And then and so how can I come back into it, but the way that I feel is an honest way for me today to do that.
Wow, that's and so you're turning to marketing, and
A mix. Like I'm not, you know, it's funny because it's not solidified the idea. Like I'm working with my cousin actually,
okay,
and she's awesome. Like she doesn't realize how cool she is. I told her that a million
You
times.
realize that.
Like I look at her and I'm like, she's so cool. Like she.
well, give her a shout out. What's her name?
Yeah, her name's Christina Chirone, and she's awesome. Like right, and so I remember when I had this idea, and it's funny because this idea has been spawning and turning in my mind for like 2 years, but like I didn't have for some reason the guts to like start it. I don't know why. I'm too busy. I got this to do, this bullshit reason, or you know whatever's coming out.
It's like a procrastination.
Yeah, it's procrastinating. Like, and every month you keep on thinking of a new idea, but it's adding to your vision, but you're not doing anything. You know, you're just adding to this amazing vision that's going fucking nowhere. And you know, like
Part of my life.
yeah, but it's like, and we all do this, right? We have these amazing ideas, and there's that element of where you're afraid maybe it's going to be a shitty idea, it's going to be a failure, it's going to be, you know, something maybe people are going to laugh at. Or you know what? The truth is who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I'm
gives
with
a
you
fuck?
100%.
You know what I mean? Fuck that. And that's what I love about seeing that young band is that they don't give a fuck. And that's what you want to work with is the guys that don't give a fuck, the girls that don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
and you listen to them and they don't care.
Yeah.
And that's why they're fun to talk to. That's the ones that you want to go see live because they're willing to give it all. Kind of like when you go watch hockey or when you go watch a sport. I hate watching the professional leagues of any sport because there's a $5 million a year guy on the ice
he's not gonna...
he's not playing or she's not playing the same way because they're worried about getting injured. Whereas you see someone in the AHL or in college football or college basketball, and they're playing, man, because they want to make it. Like you, and there's just a hunger, and that's the fun part about it. And the music is the same thing.
So what's the biggest piece of advice you would give to any band right now in terms of marketing? What's the most important thing in terms of marketing your band or any band for that matter, a young band, a hungry band?
I'd say, you know, there's a lot of things because nowadays it's tougher because there's so many things that are surrounding them. So it's amazing because they have so many options, but it's also difficult because how do you handle all that? Like I remember just playing a gig and I would sell a CD and that was how you listened to my music, right? And so,
I remember those
and then you had MySpace, like everyone went to MySpace, let's say, to go listen to it. And then finally like, there was a Facebook that came out. But now you have like 10 platforms you can do it on. Then you have 10 music platforms that you can put your music on. And it's kind of like people in some sort of way have so much content that it's hard to be found in one way. It's like you have all these audiences, but it's hard to capture the audience. So definitely one of them is being cognizant that there's a lot out there. And the most important thing I'd say is being honest with your message.
Yeah.
That's the thing that cuts through all the bullshit.
That's true.
Is when
I
someone
agree
is
with that.
is trying to cater to this audience and trying to cater to that audience and trying to cater to this, you can't be the Walmart of music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. This mass. You know, they call it spray and pray.
Yeah.
Is an old saying in marketing. Spray and pray. Spray and pray. That shit doesn't work anymore. And so you have to have something where you understand. Okay, this is my niche.
That's my niche. And
How do I work with this niche? And then if I want to move, I can move.
Yeah.
But let me be honest with who I am, and this is the niche I need to talk to.
you know, I found something as a musician. I found nowadays there's a lot of emphasis on marketing as well, on the brand, I'll call it, which is super important. But you know, I see so many artists and people on, you know, Facebook or whatever, that are singers, guitar players, and they're so good at the marketing part of it, and then you like see them on stage and it's like, oh, what is happening? I thought they were the $5 million performer, and they don't even have a voice. Like
Yeah.
they can't even sing.
Well, it's, you know,
There's an equilibrium that needs to be found, and you as a musician would be the perfect person, as a marketer and a musician would be the perfect person, because sometimes you got to kick him in the ass and say, hey, like Francesca did it as well on the podcast. She was talking about, you know, where to put your money sometimes, and she's like, you know, marketing's important, the brand is important, but fuck, if your song sucks, if you can barely play, like, I see you would come up with the idea of like, hey guys, I can market this band, but take that guitar, that solo, practice the fuck out of that solo, because you're not nailing it. And you're not, I could market you, or anyone could market you, but if you don't nail that solo, you're not going to catch your people.
It's also not like you were saying, like it's a lot about the production of the material you're working
Yeah.
with. So that's what we were also talking
For
about.
sure,
Like
for sure.
before investing in marketing or anything else, you have to make sure that the song is well produced, the product is good. Because if you put it out there, there's lots of people, millions of people, and nobody's gonna listen to a shitty recording
Yeah.
You know,
ever.
it's funny. I kind of agree and disagree, and I'll say why. Because I remember when I used to work on billboards, right? And we would spend a lot of money, and these guys would spend a shitload of fucking money getting this model to be on, and it was this glossy picture and all this stuff. Call us now, BS, whatever, you know, like that slogan that everyone has been working on for a month,
Yeah.
you know. And the sign that got the most calls was that shitty yellow sign that was written with a black marker, that we buy houses for cash, right?
Yeah.
So the truth is that it being produced nicely is nice, and it gets a lot of attention, right? And it's in a great placement, and it's on the highway, right? If we have to give the analogy of a billboard, but the message is probably most important, where it needs to just be honest. And I think that's the part where a lot of people lose out in art, is that they're worrying about the marketing side so much that
Yeah,
they're worrying about pleasing the audience.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly
Whereas
what I'm saying.
just it could be a shitty solo, it could be a shitty voice, and it could be so many bands that like I listened to, and I realized that the stuff that I loved about it is that it was off key. The stuff that I love about it is that they didn't give a shit that it was on, because it was just anger. Let's say, as an example, it
Yeah.
was someone that was just fucking pissed about something, and he kicked something while he was on stage, and he wasn't, and it went off key, and
Projection.
Exactly.
How they project themselves.
How they're being honest on stage. And I always remember one of my first gigs that I ever saw was Buddy Guy. Okay. And I loved blues when I was younger.
Yeah,
so
it's great,
Buddy
Buddy
Guy
Guy.
was one of, like, I wanted to see this guy so much. And on the gig, he broke a string in the middle of a solo. And instead of kind of saying, you know, oh, let me go get my other guitar and I'm going to fix it and I need to be perfect, he literally said, you know, I broke my fucking string. And he just kept on screwing around, and his guitar was going out of tune, but he just looked just so into the zone that it wasn't worth breaking the song to change guitar because it had to be perfect.
Of course.
And so to me, that's what I find is fun about music, is when you see the mistake and how they react to the mistake.
I agree.
That's my favorite. That when it's perfect, I almost get bored.
But you see, that's my point, and you're 100% right. I agree with you 100%. You're right about that. To get to the level, I'm not talking perfection, I'm talking to get to the level where that broken string doesn't bother me.
Confidence, yeah.
It's confidence, and what builds confidence is you got to practice.
You know your stuff, right? And you just,
gotta know your stuff.
you know who you are.
Right? So sometimes the focus is like, you're the perfect guy for this, because the focus sometimes is brand. How do I look good on camera, as opposed to shit. the solo or whatever, the chords, or I just put it together. I'm not practicing it. So sometimes they'll take 3 months and they'll do the song and it sounds amazing, and then they leave the song, work on the brand.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's like, no, you still need to work on that. And you're the perfect guy that can say, hey, I could market this, but if you're going to go, shit the bed when you get on stage, it's all for nothing.
But again, like if you shit the bed and you do it in a way that everyone connects with in the crowd, it's
True.
fine. Like
True.
that's why I find like there is no right or wrong in art. That's I've come to terms with that, because it's
all subjective.
It's all subjective, right? So I could think something is absolutely terrible and someone else listens to it and they fucking love it and I don't get it. And that's cool. Like that's the fun part.
I totally get that.
So that's why I find it's important. Like what I've always done with a lot of even like the brands I worked with. You remember when I worked alongside Evenco and Mural Fest as an example. I remember when Mural Fest kind of started, and I was working with Ali, and she's awesome. She's still part of it and everything. And we would sit down. I was like, talk to me about who you want to be, like what you want to do. And we had like great conversations, because my goal in anything that I do is not to be a projection of me, but it's to be someone that can help you communicate you, and listening to you and saying, okay, what is it that you're trying to convey here? Like, what are you trying to say? Who are you trying to talk to?
Yeah.
And what are you trying to do really here? Because all I can do is give you a speaker to amplify whatever it is that you want to do. You want to break everything? Fucking break it all.
Break it.
I want to help you break everything in the room.
Yeah.
You want to be more of a seductive feel. Let's fucking make it where everybody in the crowd wants to fuck. You know what I mean? Like, let's.
What concert is this?
That's a great
Nice.
concert, right? I'll get a lot more. I'll get a lot more people wanting to work with me on that one. But it's just that idea of understanding what they're like. She's awesome, man. I worked with her. She used to handle all the Caribbean festivals, and I used to work alongside her. Her name's Lorraine. And she has a promotion agency, and she would talk, and we talked about it at the beginning. We're talking about all the time about like working together on this podcast or whatever, like all these conversations. And she's my rum queen. We used to get together for meetings, and we used to get wasted on rum, and then talk about like the campaigns, right?
I'm loving it.
So it was awesome, like talking to her and working with her, and it was just what I loved about her is she understood that. She used to look at the people she used to work with, and even the artists that she works with today. Like it's a lot more Afro beats and stuff like that, and DJs, but she just knew how to take that special quality out of all of these artists, and bring it out in such a way where they love working with her. And when I look at her and when I see her do her thing, I'm always so happy for her. Like I could see she's in her element, and it's fucking great. Like I see Francesca's like that, super passionate, and I think that's the key to everything, is that just be passionate about the people you're working with, and really deliver what be honest at times, where maybe it's brutally honest with someone, but really bring something to the table that makes them feel at home with you. And that's where everybody really wants to be, is they want to be at home with the people they work with,
100%.
and connected.
Wow, that's awesome. And you know what? No, I love what you're saying. It's so true.
And inspiring too.
And it's inspiring,
Awesome.
for sure. Because it's important. In all art, you have to be yourself.
Yeah.
My buddy is the same thing. He's a musician. I don't know if you know M. Vidmar.
No.
Yeah, he was a singer. I played with him for years. Great dude. And he just discovered art, painting, but with concrete.
Oh, okay.
He's never
I've seen that before, like all the stuff that he can do, and it becomes like tables and all this stuff. Or
no, he does he does murals. He does wall art. He does so he'll
wall
take
art,
and he does like wall. You can do a mural, but he'll take a canvas and paint something, but with cement as well. So like it'll
that's really
be
cool.
like a 3D effect. And he found this love for it, and it's him now. Like see, it's him coming out, and he's so in demand now. He's been like one of those guys going crazy. He was on the podcast too, and it's finally he found what is him.
And isn't it funny that everyone that inevitably finds who they really are, over time, it ends up always working.
Always.
And it always does, because
Always. 100%.
there's always someone that's ready to. It's refreshing. It's refreshing to see someone.
People read through the fake.
Exactly.
And the thing is, sometimes we don't even know we're being fake.
Exactly.
Right? Because we're so brought up to how to how to please, how to do this, how to
Our
make
parents.
It's to belong. It's to belong.
It's to
be
belong,
relevant.
right?
It's to be a relevant person.
And
It's like another beer belongs on this table.
I
If
agree.
that-
I agree.
Lydia.
with a bottle opener.
I'll take
that's
care of
possible.
it.
With a bottle opener.
Yeah.
I'm taking
And
care of
he
the
needs one
important
too. He
stuff.
needs one
This
too.
is passion. See, guys?
Passion, exactly.
But part of it though is, and some people, and it's hard for a young person to understand this, because I hated it when I was that.
But it's also hard for an old person. Like,
No,
how
I
many?
don't mean. I'm saying sometimes you gotta live things.
Oh, yeah.
And use that as. And sometimes I mean, my son's 15, and sometimes I'm like, but dude, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about because you haven't lived it yet. No, but I know. Okay, and I'm just like, talk to me in 10 years. What can I tell you? Sometimes you gotta go through. So like, don't write a song.
Interlude.
Interlude. Awesome.
I just need a bottle opener if you have it.
Great. The bottle opener is.
On the keychain.
Oh, my
The
keychain, I put it somewhere there. It's somewhere here. There we go.
This?
Is it that one? No, I think it's
This
another
is a super important part of sessions with Stef,
one. Yes.
by the way.
So no, not that one. I think if you have another, if you have a bottle opener, I'll take it whenever you're
This is
ready.
the refreshment intermission.
But
Yeah. So like, don't write a song about a breakup because you think that that's what sells if you haven't gone through like
Yeah.
one of the worst breakups. You know what I mean?
or even if you felt someone go through a breakup, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and you were there and you saw whatever the story is
Write it from that perspective.
Write it
from
from-
the
yeah.
perspective that you saw someone and you saw how much it could hurt, but I don't understand it yet because I haven't lived it.
exactly,
You know,
and
that's being true to you.
and that's why I find like art, music. Cheers.
Cheers.
Steph. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
She wants some too. I think that's the fun part of all this stuff is really kind of, but it's also, you have to understand that art nowadays it's also mixed in ways where it's allowed people now, like, and even musicians, to leverage the art in a different way. Like before, I found a lot of musicians were kind of like stuck to a label that would help you produce, and if they didn't like you, you weren't going anywhere. You would have to start something on your own, and no one would ever hear about it and all that stuff. Whereas now you have all these options, and then you have all like the technology that's going to help. Like let's say, I'm not a connoisseur, and I hate when people start taking shit, but I mean, like, music NFTs, you know what I mean? And it's digital music that artists can finally own their music completely, or like in the metaverse where they're selling and they're distributing within a physical.
You're freaking me out right now.
Yeah, but it's
What the
kind of
fuck?
amazing, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
it is,
when you talk to, let's say, people from the 50s, the way, let's say, TV was this breakthrough or whatever, and the internet was a breakthrough in the 90s.
Yeah.
This is a breakthrough, right? And these are all these things that a lot of times a lot of artists are just so busy, just creating, because it's so important to create. But there's so many things for them like nowadays that they can take that art, if they have that passion, if they have that stuff,
Yeah.
and they're honest, and they put it in different ways and outlets. They can take all this information and this data,
Yeah.
and that's the fun part that I see on the marketing side, is that marketing, people talk about marketing, it's always about selling something, and I'm like, that is the complete opposite of what marketing is. Marketing is about creating a connection. And because you created a connection, someone is willing to buy something,
Love
or they're
it.
willing to invest their time with you,
Yeah.
or whatever. So the human element is the most important part of the marketing plan.
Definitely.
And the music you create. So if you don't create something that is some sort of a connection, or starts building a relationship with your audience in some way or another, either through content, either through music, either through email, SMS, whatever you want,
Whatever it
TikTok videos, especially TikTok. That was a game changer during the COVID, right?
Definitely.
So you look at all these things. These are all different ways that artists are meant to communicate with their audience. And the more they do it, and the more honest they are with their communication,
The more it's
then
gonna sell.
naturally their followers will grow.
Yeah.
And they can grow at an exponential rate if they're honest. But the hardest part is being honest.
honest. True.
That's the part that everyone struggles with, because
Yeah.
you feel like you'll be ridiculed if you say what you really want to say, or play what you really want to play, or play. I remember when I would be writing solos, I'd be so worried that the solo had a bad note in it, or something like that, or a wrong note. Like, I don't even understand the concept of a wrong
Meanwhile,
note.
Paul McCartney had no idea.
Yeah, and it's
Right?
even, and then all of a sudden you find out that the solos that I love the most, were half of them were mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or fuck ups, or
Yeah.
the parts of the solo that I love the most. Like, I'm a huge fan of Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Very good.
Huge fan.
Very good.
And you just hear the production quality of it, but also like just these different sounds. And I remember when I was a kid, when I would listen to him, and I would, like, the Downward Spiral album was like a game changer for me. I heard that album and I was like, oh my God, it's not blues rock, one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, 'cause I was so accustomed to hearing all that my whole life, of like that element of rhythm and blues and rock and hard rock and metal. he came out with this industrial sound, and I remember I was like, oh my god,
What is this?
what the fuck is going on here, right?
Opens the world,
Then
yeah.
you know, then all of a sudden you had like a Rage Against the Machine, which I can't wait to go see. I'm going and see them
coming, yeah,
this
they're
weekend,
coming, yeah,
or
exactly,
whatever,
yeah.
in 2 weeks and come back.
Uh-huh.
You know, and Tom Morello did these amazing things with a guitar that I couldn't even believe. Like, that's a guitar,
possible, yeah.
you know, and that those were all the things that I started recognizing that I love the most, is the people that kind of said,
Step
you know what,
outside the box.
fuck that box.
Yeah.
The box can kiss my ass. You know, I'm gonna go in the direction that I want, and that's kind of the feel that I want to give with this project. Is fuck what people think marketing is.
Where can
Fuck-
we find you on for this project?
Right now, you can find me just on my own personal thing. Like, it's a project that's in the making, so it's like Stef G _MTL
Okay.
for now on IG. And just, you know, if you want to contact me, you're more than welcome to and I'm happy to just even have a conversation with you.
That's awesome.
Like, nothing more. Like, I'm not expecting anything from anyone. I just want to be back in the scene and work with people. And then from there, my cousin and I are actually working on it now, of putting the site together, putting all this stuff together, and kind of getting something a little more, I guess, if you want to call it professional, a little more organized. But the goal is really not to make it so corporate and to make it bullshit and anything like that. It's really more the idea of keeping it as real as possible. Like, let's get together, let's have beers, let's talk about what your vision is.
Oh, you wait. You're not leaving here after.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't planning on leaving.
Okay,
But it's this idea of like really getting together, sitting down and talk to me about the vision you have.
Okay.
And with that vision, let's make something happen. We'll make it happen.
Sounds awesome.
I
I've
also
got-
love, I have to say, as
Yeah.
potential name, Fuck the Box is amazing.
Fuck the box.
FTB, Fuck the
FTV,
Box.
fuck the box.
F the-
Not too bad.
And-
I love
I had
it.
a name already. I have. It's funny. I had this logo that I've had and I've held on to. It's actually, the logo is my IG page, like my cover art.
Super cool.
And that logo was something that came when I was traveling, and I had like the vision of like a hip hop art mixed with like metal and all that stuff.
Nice.
And then I contacted someone and I had this idea. I took a picture of my face and he fucked around with it. And I said, remove the skin here and do all that stuff. And
Super cool.
and it came out so well. So I'm 99.9% sure that that's probably going to be the logo.
Sweet.
But definitely it's
Guys, go
it's a
check
work
it
in
out on
progress.
Instagram. Go check it out. Awesome.
Thank you for having me. By the
Oh,
way.
we're not done yet. Hold
okay.
on. There's two things. This we're gonna do really quick, and then there's a little game we do at the end.
Okay.
First thing is, I have a little segment called Worst Gig Ever.
Oh fuck!
So
I have a few of those.
you have a few of those. What is the worst one? Something. It doesn't mean that the band played bad or something that says like, "What the fuck just happened?"
I'll tell you two of them that come to mind right away.
Okay.
And
I love hearing these stories.
one of them is actually okay. It wasn't a bad gig.
Uh-huh.
It's someone that met me in the bathroom after is what made the gig very fucking awkward. And so I remember we finished this gig and we're playing at this bar and I'm taking a piss, whatever, and washing my hands. And this guy just comes up from behind me. And it's this awkward moment, you know, and he's pretty fucking big. So I remember I looked and I saw his chest and I'm like, oh shit,
Oh
you know?
shit! Hi, sir.
Yeah, I'm like, hello. You know, my voice. I felt like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber, you know, when he's in the bathroom and he's like, call this number for a good time, you know, and he's just like, you know. So definitely that guy. And then he looks at me and he said something in French, like I'm gonna butcher what I'm saying, what he said, but he was like, that they make comme Dieu. So, and he was wasted, right? He was fucked up, and it was fun. Like, we're all fucked up.
Yeah.
It's all good. So I'm like, oh, you know, merci. And he's like, oh, no, pour vrai là, that they make comme Dieu. I'm like, okay,
Right.
merci. You know, he's like, no, pour vrai, that they make comme Dieu. So I'm like, oh fuck,
Oh,
like
shit.
this is he's really
While
obsessed with
you're
my
only-
hands, you
while
know?
You're fucking thinking of
Yeah,
me.
like I'm like, let's finish this fast, you know. So and it was weird because I literally just finished peeing, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Give me your hands."
Oh.
So I'm like cornered
Yeah.
in a
And he's
fucking
big.
year. Like, he's big. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, he's gonna kill me. Like, if I don't do this, I'm done.
Awesome.
So I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
And he grabs my hands, like literally. Imagine someone just grabs it. I'm like, oh my god,
Holy
what
shit.
the fuck is gonna happen right now? And he lifts them up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he just goes, and he licks my hand.
Oh my God.
And I swear to God, I to this day I could still see his face, and I'm in complete like shock of how the fuck did this just happen to me.
God.
And then he's like, merci, and he just left. So I can always remember this guy. Like I'll always remember this person for the rest of my life.
Wow.
That was a very interesting moment. So the gig was really good because clearly we played a really good gig.
Well, yeah.
But that ruined the gig. Like it was when that ruined the gig, we laughed a lot, man.
Holy
the guys
shit.
like laughed their fucking ass off. And then another one was I was so drunk and so high that we started off a show with AC/DC, Long Way to the Top.
Uh-huh.
And
It was a long way to the bottom.
oh man, I pulled a fucking funny moment, you know. And you know, I think the first chord's like a B flat, like dun, na, 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 dun, na, na, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like on stage, I think I'm cool and all this shit, you know. And I go to play instead of a B flat, like, you know, just an octave, you know, there's that like long chord that just
power
rings,
chord.
that power chord, but it was like the octaves, right? So it really rings out. So I went bam, but I put on a B instead of a B flat. Ooh, so I remember it was the opening.
That semitone away is like.
But the best part is not the semitone, is that I pointed. You know? And I thought it was cool. And I sounded, and I just stayed on it because I didn't realize what was going on. I was so fucked up. I don't even remember, you know? And then all of a sudden I watch a video of it, or somebody had a video or something. And they're like, dude, did you hear what you just played? And you thought you were so cool. And I said, man, I was fucked up. I don't remember any of this.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
So yeah, those are definitely two funny moments. I always like remember those two moments.
I do this segment all the time, and I always think every time someone says a story, I think of a story that happened to me, and I have millions of them.
I can imagine.
One of them is fucking funny. We were playing Fly Me to the Moon. It was a corporate gig. We were playing Fly Me to the Moon, and we had a substitute trumpet player. So it was a girl singing it. So we brought down the key like, two tones.
Wow. Okay.
Because it's a girl. So instead of her doing, well, no, because
she
she
had-
did the
yeah, the
octave,
highs.
right? So it was down. Now the general key of the song is in C, but we brought it down to A flat.
Okay.
But it starts off. We start with a shout chorus or the horns. But the fucking trumpet player is the loudest, and he's got the top note. He thought it was in C.
Oh, so
he starts in C, and we all we have no choice. The band's like, we
have to
follow.
You have to follow.
So we all follow, right? And we're in C. And the girl singer, she has no idea. And I'll never forget this. She's like, the band is playing, and now it's her time to start singing. And she grabs the mic and she's like, fly me. Because it's too high. And I think I laughed. The rest of the song, I was like, fuck. Her ass cheeks were clenching to hit those notes, man. Anyway, it wasn't the worst gig ever, but it was fucking funny.
You just reminded me of something else. I remember there was one song I hated playing. I don't remember. I think it was a Hoobastank song or whatever.
Okay.
And and they just started playing it on stage, and they knew I hated this fucking song, so now I have to play it, but I couldn't remember the lick. So I'm like, you know, it was like terrible. I'm trying to figure it out on stage. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get you, motherfucker. Like, was my old guitarist, and I said, I'm gonna get you. So I looked at my drummer and I said, okay, play Toys in the Attic from Aerosmith, because he sucked at Toys in the Attic. He couldn't do the riff. He just couldn't play the riff. He sucked at it. So I'm thinking, I got him. He got me, man. He takes he takes his volume and he just pretends to play.
And he's pointing.
So he's got me stuck now doing the lick. I'm like, oh man, I started playing it. I was sweating the whole song. And I was doing his parts, everything. He didn't remember the song, so I remember that too.
Funny. All right, now we have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have to do this game. It's called First Thought. Pretty simple. I ask a question.
First thought?
First thought that comes into your mind when I say something like favorite food.
Hamburger. I love hamburgers, man.
We have it tonight. Favorite movie.
Oof.
They get harder, by the way, as they go along.
Okay. Oh man, V for Vendetta.
Nice. I love, and that's so you, by the way.
I love that.
Right
movie.
after this interview, I'm like, that's you. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Okay. What's the first thought that enters your mind when I say Nickelback?
The photograph. Like, that's literally the first thing that comes into my mind, because we used to make fun of that like all the time. My old singer used to, look at this photograph. So I literally think of that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, that's what I wanted, actually. This is going to fuck you up a bit.
Okay.
Favorite lyric in a song?
Oof.
Yeah, exactly. That's a thinker.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I can't even think of one lyric now. Like, now that I'm on the spot, I literally can't think of. Honestly, I can't even think of one right now.
No, eh?
Not one song is coming to mind. I'll come back to it.
Okay. It'll get it.
Yeah. I'm like
Rolling
trying to
around
think.
in there.
Maybe it's the third or fourth beer now. I'm trying to think of the lyrics.
Your your favorite show that you attended?
Oof. I'd say definitely. Okay, it's funny. I saw Guns N' Roses like 5 times, so I'd say like all 5 of them are like my favorite show. That was my favorite band for a long time. But Kanye West.
Nice.
Kanye West live was just fucking phenomenal at the time. Like it was just so good, the show. And definitely a close I guess to it was 9 Inch Nails.
Okay, cool. That's a good one. It's pretty simple. Best singer front person of all time.
Oof. I find like that's a tough one because every decade has like 20 amazing, right?
Of course.
I'd say one of my favorite is definitely, I was a huge Guns N' Roses fan, so Axl Rose was obviously I was a big fan of him. But
Poor dog.
see, she's not a big fan of Axl Rose. I guess I'll go with Axl Rose because it was my favorite band.
Okay. I mean, this is simple. Favorite band of all time for you.
I would say it's a tough one, but it's kind of a cross between, like I said, I know it sounds like pretty, like I keep on saying Guns N' Roses, but that was like a big influence on me. Guns N' Roses definitely when I was younger, and then as I get older, like I really fell in love with like my high school days or whatever was Rage Against the Machine. I'd say is probably in my top 3.
Okay.
Like Guns N' Roses, Rage, kind of along those lines, and I was a huge also, like fucking love the Beatles, you know what I mean? John Lennon solo I like even more than the Beatles.
Oh, cool.
So John Lennon is probably one of my top artists.
Okay, sweet. I mean, I had this written down, but I think I can answer. Best guitarist of all time, I would say is Slash.
He's definitely in my. He's the one that kind of changed everything for me. So
yeah, definitely. Okay, so now, I mean, that was pretty much it. But I have something that Francesca has introduced to us, and she's asked me this, and I was like, well, "That's a great question." Put together your all-time favorite band if you had to choose and make your own band.
Oh man.
It's a good question.
That's a really hard
Francesca,
question.
it is a good question.
I know you would think that I would probably put Slash in there, whatever it is, but I would probably put Tom Morello as my guitarist.
You can have 2,
Okay.
right? Because you can put together.
Then I would definitely put Slash and Tom Morello in the same band. Bass player, probably Flea.
Oh, that was my pick too.
Drummer.
My friend picked Geddy Lee. I was like, oh,
he
man,
passed away. I'm blanking out on his name for some reason right now, but the drummer of Avenged Sevenfold would probably be one of my favorite drummers. Just for some reason I'm blanking out. He passed away. He would be on drums and vocals. Oof.
That's a tough one.
You know what? I would love to put a DJ somewhere in there. So if we can get that, it would be fun to have a DJ and get the sounds and just kind of different beats going on.
Kind of like a Kid Rock feel almost.
Not Kid Rock, it would like more of I remember Linkin Park. I was a huge fan of Linkin Park, so kind of that feel of that hip hop, especially when they did that whole Jay-Z Linkin Park, collaboration was awesome. So definitely I would try to put some sort of hip hop flavor to it. That's why I think I would want Tom Morello as the guitarist because of that feel. And singer, I think I would probably go with like maybe Jay-Z or something like that. Like really could give it a completely different feel where like the lyrics are awesome, or like a Kendrick or something like that. Like I think I would probably fit like a hip hop flavor into it because I wouldn't want to keep it just rock.
Cool. Well, that sounds awesome.
No.
Wow, amazing.
Unconventional.
That's unconventional and good. Hey, we love that's sessions with Stef. That's what we love we love to hear the different ideas. Because I'm sure a lot of people listening are going to say, "Oh my God, I never thought of it. That's really cool," right? Because like when I put it together, it was like Freddie Mercury and but it's good to have different ideas. I saw a video the other day. It was Nuno was one of he was my guy, right? In guitar.
Everyone has their guys.
Yeah, he was an influence musically. So Nuno it's one of his videos, and he was with Nancy Wilson.
Okay.
They were doing Barracuda. Taylor Hawkins was playing drums. So there's a video before.
Sad.
And I don't know the bass player and the girl singer, but I was like, oh, holy shit.
Well, one thing that I hope I can somehow do, like getting now more involved in the music scene, is I love seeing pictures. When you see pictures and they're backstage and you have, like I saw this one random picture and I'm wondering what the fuck the conversation must have been like. And you had like Robert De Niro, it's 1972 or whatever it is, and you see Robert De Niro, Bob Dylan, David Bowie, and they're all in this one picture together and they're hanging out, smoking and drinking and probably doing heroin. And and you're looking at it and you're kind of like, I wish I was in that room.
Yeah, I wish I was
a fly in that room just to see the conversation. And that's kind of what I would love to see here is you grab a picture and you have, 20 years from now or 15 years from now, you look at these artists that were from Montreal and you're like, you can't believe there was these people. Like imagine, let's say you have, like, when I think of some of the bigger names now, but like Half Moon Run is in the same room as K Tronada, in the same room, you know what I mean? Like, and all these names now that are kind of household names of Montreal acts.
Yeah.
And they're all in the same room.
The same room
having drinks and getting stoned, whatever, you know what I mean? And just partying together and seeing that mesh. I find sometimes a lot of people, they just kind of stick with their niches and they don't really kind of integrate in a sense and like kind of make that a little more part of the scene,
Sweet. Stefano, thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you
This
for
has been a
having me.
blast.
Thank
The
you, Francesca.
conversation,
Thanks to you.
The conversation was amazing, guys. Stefano Guadagnino, go check him out. Instagram, you saw his handle. I don't know
Reach
if you're
out to
on
him.
Facebook.
He's
Reach out to
he
him.
can help you.
Definitely. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Francesca, thank you so much. Guys,
Thank you,
thanks
guys.
for watching. Subscribe, of course, Spotify, all of that stuff. Sessions with Steph. Let's talk it out. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Every Wednesday, we have a show coming out at 7 o'clock. So keep tuning in, keep writing the comments. And again, Stefano, thanks again. We're going to do it again. Once your project is
Definitely.
on the like it's running, send us a message. We'll put you up there and we'll have you back. We'll have you back with an artist. Maybe we can do a live. That's another thing. Sessions with Steph. I want to do different things. I love the interviews. I have an upcoming episode that's going to come out. I hope it comes out. But I did a gig, an outdoor gig, lots of people. It was a Styx Journey tribute band. And I took like behind the scenes. Awesome. And then I interviewed the musicians before and after the gig, just to show what it takes to set up, different things content. Like that. Yeah, different content. Like we had Francesca on, we have different types of musicians on, singers and all of that. So yeah, I'd like to maybe one day we can have you with a random one of Francesca's clients, and maybe you can have like a one-on-one live, where you're fun. Giving advice and have fun with that. I think it's interesting content and stuff.
Always ready.
So guys, once again, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. Sessions with Steph is now done.